Chacham Ovadia Yosef was once at a wedding. And I heard the story from somebody who was at the wedding. It's a famous story. Chacham Ovadia alludes to the story in his books. But I heard the story firsthand from somebody who was there. According to Chacham Ovadia, we don't agree with him. But according to him, a couple is not supposed to do a Yichud room after they get out of the chuppah. Why? Okay, he has his reasons. Again, we don't do that, but he has his reasons. One of his, a Sephardic boy whose family follows Chacham Ovadia, they invited him to the wedding, and the Rosh HaYeshiva, he said, no, I don't let him, if he's not going to do the Yichud room, I'm going to leave the wedding. So now the boy's stuck. He has Chacham Ovadia Yosef at his wedding. He has his rabbi from Yeshiva who's supposed to do the wedding. And he's not sure, should I stick to my principles and just tell this rabbi, okay, go home, Chacham Ovadia will do the wedding? Or should I give in, because listen, it's under the chuppah, it's awkward, there are people here, there are guests here, there's a kalal side here. I'll just give in, I'll do it, what's the worst that can happen? Chacham Ovadia steps in, and he decided he was going to talk to the Rosh Hashiva privately. Took him aside. Let me explain to you. This is what the Gemara says. This is what the Rishonim write. And the Rambam says this, and the Rif says that, and the Rashba says that. So listen, the Shulchan Aruch says like this, and we know there's the Rama, there's the Shulchan, there's the Minhag in Porat Yosef. He's talking to the Rosh Hashiva Halachot. Chacham Ovadia left the wedding. And Chacham Ovadia got into the car and he started crying. And he said, it's a busha to our generation, it's an embarrassment to our generation, that a Rosh HaYeshiva, he's the head of a whole yeshiva, he's a famous rabbi in Israel. He doesn't even know how to learn halachot. He cannot have a decent conversation with me in halakha.
Was he a Sephardic Rosh Hashiva?
I'm pleading the fifth. He was very famous. I don't want to mention his name.
No.
He was not Sephardic,
Yeah,
no.
okay.
But a very big Talmid Chacham, very famous. And like in the yeshiva
so
world,
the Sephardim don't do the Yichud.
You get what they do.
Chacham Ovadia Sephardim don't do the Yichud. We agree with Ashkenazi rabbi. The point wasn't whether or not he was right or wrong. The point was, there's not the kind of thing you make a scene about at a wedding,
right.
because halachot, there are valid reasons
right.
to both sides. But this rabbi was so unlearned in the realm of halakha. Talmud, that's what he taught all day long. Right. But in halachot, he was so unlearned in this department that he could not grasp what Chacham Ovadia was telling him.
Actually, I didn't like the Yichud room.
Yichud room, what they do, Yichud room, just to eat. They're already fasting, that's it.
Do you know Yichud room?
Yeah.
Eat.
Heard Moshe Chaim Zu?
But Sephardim don't fast, right?
When you're on the wedding, and they go to
right.
the big hotel, they go to some room.
Right.
And they come out excited, yeah, and girls start dancing, and and say, what's going on? Is it sneer? What did they do?
Right.
And why she's so excited?
When they're fasting all day, Yichud room, they have chance to eat.
You hear what Moshe Chaim said?
What they,
But it's sneak. So I'll tell you Chacham Ovadia's argument.
What does Maran say?
This is the big debate. See, the way Maran got married is not the way we get married today.
Yeah, but what does he say in the Shulchan Aruch?
Chacham Ovadia also agrees you need a Yichud room. He just agrees that it's like, I'll explain. When a person gets married, you can say whatever you want. When a person gets married, they have to have three. I guess this is my bridge between this book and Halakha Bura. That way I'm not going over time. There have to be three things done under the chuppah, or at the wedding, to make the bride married. Masechet Kiddushin. You learn Kiddushin at all? Did you study Kiddushin? Yes? No? Did you study Kiddushin?
Erison's
2 years.
We're still stuck in the bathroom.
2 years?
I'm in the middle.
What's the first Mishnah in Masechet Kiddushin?
3 ways.
Ha'isha niknes. Ha'isha niknet b'shlosha drachim. A lady can be bought. Let's use a more politically correct word. A lady can be married with three things.
It's a document, money.
Kesef, money,
and
Shaar,
intimate-
document,
an intimate
and
relationship.
biyah, being together. Okay. You can only really need to do one of them. But Chachamim said in order to make matters secure, a lady is not married till she does all three of them. Okay, so we come to the chuppah. And we have kesef. What is the money? What is the kesef?
The ring.
The ring. Now, was it always a ring in Jewish circles?
No.
No, it used to actually be money. Money. Yemenite communities, they still do it. They take a coin and they give it to the wife underneath the chuppah.
Coin.
Golden?
I don't know what kind of coin. It could be a gold coin or a silver coin.
Something.
Something valuable, of course. Now, it wasn't like a quarter. Imagine if I did that to my wife under the chuppah. Here's a silver dollar. You know, like,
Here's a cat.
Harayat Mekudeshli, right?
That's funny. She took the ring and didn't ask for a coin.
That's it. But the idea of a ring, the Zohar talks a lot about a ring. That's essentially where the ring comes from. The Zohar talks about a ring that it's on the inside of your hand and on the outside of your hand. It connects the inside with the outside. I'm not a Kabbalist, I'm just telling you. This is the source for it. The Zohar mentions that you should have a square ring with a circle inside. Now I've seen people do it, but that doesn't seem to be the Jewish
It's supposed to be complicated.
custom, right? Now on top of it, there's an argument between the rabbis and the Kabbalists. Is it a gold ring or a silver ring? Is it a gold ring or a silver ring?
Expensive one.
Gold.
Gold.
Gold. It should be gold. Halakha says gold. Yellow gold. Real gold. Why? It's valuable. It's a valuable item.
Exactly.
The Mekubalim say no, not gold. Gold reminds us of the golden calf. Gold in Kabbalah's din is judgment. Use silver. It's also worth money, but it's not gold. Kesef. See it? I actually carry with me every time I go do a wedding. I carry with me 2 silver rings, just in case they forget their ring or something. I always have. So I'm so mech on the Kabbalist that we use a silver ring in other places.
I too.
Now here we have an interesting question.
Why two?
Why 2? Oh, just I don't know. In case I lose one. You want to know the truth? I bought them on Groupon and it was 2 for 1. So I just I got 2. And they come in the same little plastic Ziploc bag. It's the truth, People are going to say, oh, Rabbi Yoni goes to every wedding with 2 rings, just because that's how he bought it. Nothing else. They come connected. I'll tell you the truth. There's no Kabbalah behind 2 rings under the chuppah. So, when it comes to the halachot, after my chuppah, I bought my wife a white gold ring. Simple white gold. Why? Because yellow gold, I don't like the way it looks, she didn't like the way it looks, and silver, we wanted, I guess not silver. I wasn't giving her any camels or anything, so it had to be worth something more than that. And
Camels are expensive.
Halav Peretz told me that I have to tell her, I have to show her the receipt, and show her how much I paid for it.
Who said that?
Rav Peretz, he did the chuppah. You want to know why?
Because it might not look like
What does it look like?
like silver.
Like silver. What's the problem if it looks like silver? Who cares? No.
She had the mindset of not
Very good.
being bought at that for the right intention of not.
What is Dan saying? Tell me the halakha he's saying. There's a halakha called mekach ta'ut. I go to the store and I buy a toaster, and I had a mind to buy a 2-slice toaster, and I come out of the store and it was a 1-slice toaster. Is the store owner obligated to return it for me? They're not in the country where there are return policies. According to halakha, is he obligated to return it to me?
Probably.
Yeah, why?
You thought you were getting a...
I thought I was getting a 2-slice toaster, and here I was getting a 1-slice toaster.
Yeah.
The same thing is true, by the way, if you get something of more value, but you think it's lesser value. I got a toaster, turns out it also has a coffee maker inside of it. I once was at a gas station in Israel, it was a microwave, a toaster, a frying pan, and a coffee maker all in one. So it was great. And it was like $25. So
It's called the Bacher Buddy.
I think should have asked which truck it fell off of, but you don't know. So let's say it was one of those, and I get more than I wanted. Also there it's a mekach ta'ut, because it's not what I had in mind when I purchased it. But this has ramifications, in my opinion, regarding, let's say, airline tickets. You know those glitches that come up?
Right.
And I buy a glitch. I bought a $200, not me. Someone bought a $200 ticket to Israel. It wasn't like El Al had a sale, you know, they're lowering it 60% out. They never have sales in El Al. But imagine there was such a concept. And I bought a ticket, $200. I knew it was a glitch. I took advantage of the glitch. And then El Al comes out with a public statement. Then, are they honoring it or not? Most times they honor it. Most airlines honor it. Am I allowed to fly with that ticket?
Yes.
They agree.
No.
If they say we're
You
not.
bought the ticket proper way, it may be on sale $200.
I knew that I was...
That's what you know is different.
But they're like, they're like,
you
whoops,
can-
we didn't know we were selling $100.
Well, what happened is it went through like Orbitz or something, and Orbitz had a glitch in their equation that when they get the information from the ELA, for example, there was here in California, maybe in Orange County, I don't remember where it was, where United, or there was some airline flying to Hawaii. Yeah? And don't say that.
I had enough trouble with them last
So the people are flying, and I'll tell you what happened was that if you buy a first class ticket to Hawaii, it was $0.00. And then if you buy an economy ticket to Hawaii, it was like $300. So whatever it is, I don't know how much it costs to go to Hawaii. So this person, she was booking a ticket for her honeymoon at work. And she thought, hey, look, first class tickets are free. And everyone in the department booked first class tickets. And everyone did it. They had to pay like, I don't know, they paid tax on like $10 it cost them, something like that, and that was what they went through. And security tax or some kind of...
So we're not allowed to take it.
Well, so the question, listen, there were rabbis that said like their own. They agreed, at the end of the day they
If
agreed.
they say like, no, then we can't.
Right.
But the fact that they said, okay, we made a mistake, and if you bought when we made a mistake, okay, we made a mistake, and we're gonna keep with our policy.
Tell me why they honor their glitch though.
That's their decision.
Why do they do it though?
Business.
Because
To look
Orbit
good.
says if you guys don't honor the glitches, then you're not going to be able to advertise on Orbits.
Okay, could be that they have money to lose in a different
They
angle.
only get sued.
They don't want to get
Cost
sued.
them more.
They're just simple. A simple...
It's good advertisement.
It looks good.
Very good. It looks like they're being stingy, you know? At the end of the day, so what are they losing? In an airline that makes millions of dollars a year, so you're losing $10,000. It's better for us to have a good name among our customers that people go, I'm never flying United again, right? It's better for that. And most companies, by the way, know that. Most companies know that it's better to lose a few dollars and gain a customer than it is to save a few dollars and lose my clientele. But I always say, by Costco, for example, it's amazing that they let you return almost anything to Costco. And the reason isn't because they love you. The reason is because if you go to somewhere where they don't have a good return policy, you think 10 times before you buy
They
something.
don't want it returned.
But
Frozen stuff.
if you come, okay,
But they took it.
okay.
Get the money
But-
and throw them out. They don't use it.
But if you come to Costco and you know, listen, should I buy this? Should I not buy? You know what? They have a really good return policy. You end up buying more than you ever would have bought
Yeah.
because you know that whoever actually comes and returns something, every woman in the world has a trunk of a car that's full of stuff that she should have returned and never returned. It's the way the world works. They're doing it because they don't want to lose customers. So technically, we force their hand. But it's business. Hey, you know, business is business. Business is not business. Remember the Kehillat class we said that many techniques in business are not actually halachically legal. They may be called negotiating or bargaining, but it's not actually a good halachic rule. For example, if I come to you, I say, hey, I like your watch. Jack, I like your watch. No, let's say it was very sentimental to you.
It is.
I'll give you. How much is your watch worth?
Well, it's a citizen watch.
Oh,
So.
okay. What if I say
What? How much is it worth?
Yeah,
$1,000.
there you go. What if I say I'll give you $1,000 for the watch? No, I don't want to sell it. I like my watch. Go find yourself a new one. You know, I'll give you $2,000 for the watch. Don't want to sell my watch. I'll give you $20,000 for the watch. I want that watch. So what just happened?
You broke it.
Hey, everybody heard him, right? So, I mean,
Take it back. See, this is like orbit. So
You already lifted it.
oh, I bet.
Actually, I heard you had 12 watches for sale.
Next time I'm using Avram's name. Avram wants to buy your watch, right? And this is, I'll give you. The truth is, at a certain point, I just say, hey, here's $100,000. I'm taking the watch. And you walk away. The guy got $100,000.
You should
Are
have
you
held
stealing?
out.
Are you stealing?
Why?
He didn't want to sell the watch. You forced him to sell the watch.
That's
Say by
coercion.
raising your price, is that considered forcing?
Sentiment steal.
The Gemara refers to it as a chamsan. It's a kind of thief, like the word chamas. And actually, you'll find this word used in Parashat Noach.
As opposed to comes.
Yeah. Hashem destroys the world because of gezel and chamas.
Yeah.
They're not the same.
Here's a
Stealing.
thief, and another one, Hamas is a
The
robber.
Gemara understands chamas, maybe not in that parasha, as a person who forces another person's hand in business.
Wall Street.
And by the way, this opens up a whole new world of questions. So what can I do in business and can I not do? I don't have all the answers. I'm not a baki in business halakha. There are people who are. But when I see such a story about an airline, I wonder if really, just because they honor it, is it any different than the chamsan who has taken advantage? So put that on the side. Let's talk about our ring. If my wife were to think that she, like Dan said, is getting married with a silver ring, really it's worth more. But she doesn't know that. So technically, Chalila, that wedding might not actually be chal, it might not be valid. And therefore she has to know how much it's worth. What's the next step of the wedding? So they have the ring, money. The next one?
Can you use
Shtar.
platinum ring?
Can you use it?
Platinum ring.
Right, so this is all the same thing. Right, this is it. Gold. But, and by the way, many people are using platinum rings. I always tell the couples that I marry, just tell them how much it costs. Now, it could be that I'm just being strict. But I'd rather be strict over here about this. Not such a big deal.
No 3D printed rings.
Now, what if we're talking about, now what's the next step? The Shaar. What is the Shaar? The ketubah. The ketubah is a contract. It's a document. People who hang up their ketubah on the wall. They all are very fancy ketubah. They look like they should be hung up on the wall. Listen, many Ashkenazim hang up the ketubah. Not all, but many. It's like a custom. It's displayed in a prominent place. The reason for this custom is because a couple who does not know where their ketubah is not allowed to live together for even one day. They have to get up and leave the house until they get a new ketubah. So it's very important to know where the ketubah is, and this was, like, by many couples, Ashkenazim and Sfaradim, the ketubah always stayed by the bride's mother. Almost always. That was where it went, because what is the ketubah really?
Okay.
A contract for when?
For support.
In the case of
Get
a get, of a divorce. This is not the kind of thing you want to lose. Because if you lose it, then you have no idea to know what I'm going to get if things go wrong. The ketubah is a divorce contract. It's the financial part of the
They
get.
don't tell us the wedding time is a divorce contract.
Right, they don't tell you. So essentially, in halachic terms, forget emotions and sentiment, and we signed it together, and this rabbi was there.
Now, beautiful.
Technically, the ketubah is like hanging up your mortgage on the wall. I mean, you could do it. You could take your life insurance policy and frame it. Yeah, but it's not. Like, why is it there? It should be in a safe, or it should be somewhere in your files. Okay, ketubah. And then the next part of the chuppah is being together. Yeah, now the question is, how together do you have to be? Do you know that when you buy something in Judaism, in Jewish law, there are three things you have to do to it. These three things. You have to do a kinyan, but technically kesef, you buy it with money. Shtar, you could also sign a contract to take it. And bi'ah, what is using something intimately? You have to use it in a way that you were not allowed to use it until now. Daron, you did something with your hand. What did you do? Show me. Like that. That's what you have to do. Have you ever went like kaparot and somebody made you lift a pen over your head and I accept? What is the deal with that? I have to do something with your watch that I would not have been allowed to do had I not owned it. I have to drive the car off the lot. It's not just enough to sign the papers in the car dealership. The same thing when we marry Ali. We have to do something that we would not have been allowed to do beforehand. The Ashkenazim have a beautiful custom, and it's based off of many of the Rishonim. If I'm not mistaken, the Rif writes this. Don't remember, don't hold me to it. That essentially a man and a woman are not allowed to be in the same room together. Right? A Yichud room. That's why it's called a Yichud room, because you're not allowed to be Yichud together. What is the bare minimum definition of a room?
What's the bare
I
definition?
mean, if I were to say, I have to go into a room with this lady, what is the bare minimum material that I have to have in order to be in a room?
Separate from it.
An
You gotta
enclosed
get a
area.
door and close it.
In a room? There's no such thing as a room without a door? This room doesn't have any doors.
Well, I think,
Wait,
I thought
an
you have to
enclosed
close
area.
the door to be.
Right? You're coming to this with knowledge you already have.
So nobody can see you. Nobody can see.
Right.
Like it's got kind of angles, architectural angles. You can't like see what's going on in the room.
These Rishonim suggest
Not a classroom.
you have 4 poles, 4 poles and a canopy, and that is a bare definition of a room. Technically, it would save you from the shade. You could sleep in there if you wanted to.
That's what he uses.
All right.
No side.
No sides. And that's where the idea of this chuppah with 4 poles came from. In Sephardic weddings, we never had a chuppah with 4 poles. It's like a new thing that we do today. And then came the Ashkenazi custom of using a talit, so why use just some random canopy? Use the talit to be the canopy, right? We Sfaradim, we wear the talit. Not just Sfaradim, French Jews, Ashkenazim also did this. They didn't wear a talit. Do you know what they do, the French Ashkenazim? I don't know if real French people today do it, but in the times of the Rishonim, they used to cover up the groom with her veil. Imagine doing that at a wedding today. They get really close and she puts her veil on top of his head. Or he would take his coat and put the corner of the coat on top of her head. So then chuppah came and talitot came and nice little gazebos came and all kinds of fancy things afterwards. None of them are wrong. But this is the bare definition of biyah. Rambam though doesn't agree. Rambam says, you can't practically do anything in this room. And the second thing is there are so many people in this room and watching this room that it's not a private space. You could have done this when you were single also. This is like standing in line for Kiddush or something. There's a lot of people under there. Everyone's looking at you and nobody wants you there, right? It was one of those. Yeah. So the Rambam says you need a room.
Actually, standing by Kiddush is more intimate.
How big are you? I'm made of the gefilte fish.
You better be careful because you never know who you'll wind up married to.
Yeah, you gotta be careful near that shulin pot.
I was once in Tzfat. He passed away this year, Allah Shalom. A man by the name of Morris Abrams. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah.
He's a special man. Yeah, this year.
Yeah.
And not so long. So I used to stay by him in Tzfat when I would visit. That's actually where I decided I was going to marry my wife, was at his house. And so the first time I'd come up to Tzfat, the house was a full house. They put my mother in one of the bedrooms, someone else in another bedroom, and then they had like 3 or 4 more people staying there, but they wanted to give me like a private corner of the house. So they just had a room like this, imagine. And he was very good with his hands, like wood, things like that.
Yeah.
And he put up a few screws, and he put a curtain up and like closed off a corner of the room. The problem was that was where the couch was, that was where the living room was, and there were a bunch of like seminary girls visiting his wife or whatever it was. And he said, listen, anyone who's in this room in 3 seconds is going to be married to the rabbi. And I'll tell you, that was one of those humbling experiences for me. You've never seen people run so fast in your whole life.
Oh boy, that's real rich.
But technically, he didn't know. I don't know if he knew what he meant, but that would have been a valid chuppah according to some people. And the Rambam therefore says that you need a room that you could close, that has no windows that people can see through, and a door that you can lock. And it has to be that it's your closed space, and you have to be in there long enough that there should have been some kind of action done. That's why the witnesses stand out there for a few minutes, and according to us, we follow the Rambam. And the truth was that in the olden days, people didn't get married like today. They didn't go rent a hotel, and they had a wedding, a chuppah, and then they were in the Yichud room, and they came out, and they had some kind of loud music, and they run into the room, and everybody screams, It didn't work like that. That wasn't the custom. The custom was pretty much, you do a chuppah in your backyard. The rabbi comes, you have a minyan there, they do they give a ring, they give a ketubah, blah, 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 and then they throw everyone out of the backyard, the husband and the wife go to their house, they do whatever they do, and that night, the whole town is invited to a wedding festival somewhere in the town, at the hall, at the synagogue, in the square, wherever it was. Chacham Ovadiah's argument is that the yichud that we do in the room is not authentic. Technically, you would wait until the nighttime. That's the real yichud. We say, listen, but today you don't wait until the nighttime, and the wedding is going to take place before that yichud of the nighttime. So according to the Rambam, this couple isn't even married yet. And you're going to be dancing, and you're going to be singing, and you're going to be saying Shever Brachot, but the couple's not married. They didn't finish the 3rd step of marriage. So that's why the Ashkenazim and us from the Sfaradim are adamant, not like Chacham Ovadiah, that you have to do the Yichud room at the wedding. Chacham Ovadiah, though, has Moshe Chaim's argument, and it's based off of an Aruch HaShulchan, who's an Ashkenazi rabbi, who says it's not sanua. And what happens? They leave the chuppah, and everyone dances with that, whatever. And they go, they start banging down the door, they lock the door, and you're all a bunch of single people. You're acting like you're crazy. You had too many drinks in the bar over here. And everyone's in their head is, what are they doing there? What are they not doing there? What are they maybe doing there? Halakha is that tzniut is also not just actions, but not causing other people to think certain things that you're doing. And therefore, listen, we don't want to do such a thing at our wedding. It's a bad thing to start a wedding like that. We'll rely on the Yichud later. The truth is that at my wedding, what I asked everyone to do was, after the chuppah, you leave the hall, we asked everyone, please stop right here. Nobody else come, we're going to take pictures. So nobody knows. We went to the Yichud room, we didn't go to the Yichud room, it wasn't general knowledge for anybody. I felt that in that way I satisfied both opinions of doing a Yichud and also nobody coming and thinking anything. They thought we were going to take our pictures. But there's a problem in both of these opinions. I'm complicating the laws of chuppah and kiddushin for you?
Yes.
You want to get even more complicated?
Yes.
If a lady gets married after the Yichud room, when does the obligation of covering her hair start?
Right then.
She just finished being married, according to all the opinions. So why isn't she not covering her hair?
Well, why not? If she wants to, get a shadel, she should get one right then. Yeah. So.
You can wear it after proposal.
Why get a free pass for a day?
Yeah, very good.
When she's the most beautiful in her life, potentially.
Chamuvadia, by the way, says, so that's why you should do like me. Because according to me, she didn't finish getting married yet. And she only has to start covering her hair the next morning. But Chamuvadia, if that's true, then why are we dancing?
Exactly.
What are we eating for if she didn't finish getting married?
Because we're in the process of getting married.
That's like making hamotzi
And there is
in between washing your right hand and your left hand. I mean, that's...
in the Masechet Kedushin, it's either way, right? It's later.
Very good, very good. Oh, you heard?
Together.
Moshe Chaim is saying, so we're following some of the opinions already hold she's married. With the fact that we say you have to do all three of them, that's our problem. So even according to Chamuvadia, you didn't help. Now according to Chamuvadia, she also has to cover her hair. How many brides have you ever seen come out of the room covering their hair? We had this problem in my wedding. And I'll tell you that we spoke about it recently, it was our anniversary, and we regretted it very much what we did. Yeah, sure. So, we had a big problem. In our circles, not our circles, more my wife's circles, and we were getting married in my wife's circles, covering your hair with a head covering is not okay. Everyone wears shaitels. We don't believe that a shaitel is a head covering. So for us, we had an interesting situation. If my wife were going to come out with her head covered, she would come out with some kind of like white turban on her head. And even though Chacham Avadi says that Sephardic ladies who don't wear a shaitel, they can borrow a shaitel for the first night while they're at the wedding if they're too embarrassed, Chacham Avadi says very interesting. He says they cannot own the shaitel because then they'll come to wear it later. But they can borrow it. Who do you borrow it from? Chacham Avadi says one of her friends who wears the shaitel, or from a gemach that has shaitels. But we didn't go down that road. And essentially, we asked Harav Peretz, should we do a Yichud, should we not do a Yichud? Harav Peretz said, not because of the head covering, you're going to stop doing a Yichud. Do the Yichud anyways, and whatever you decide, but the head covering decide. My wife's week of Shavar Brachot was miserable. Family, siblings, friends, what are you wearing on your hair? What is that on your head? It never stopped. She came here, what do you do? That's how you cover your head. Head covering.
Head covering and a shadel over it.
It's like putting a kippah on top of a pig. So when the other way around. By the way, you should know the other way around. The other way around. There are Hasidic ladies who they wear shaitels, and on top of the shaitels they wear a handkerchief or a hat or something. Right? Okay, that I'm willing to.
Because sometimes it looks like natural.
It looks like it. So when why am I sharing this with you? because it was a tricky thing. How do we know we're married? So why shouldn't she cover her hair? So I said, listen, we can't make a big balagan in your family the night of the wedding. It's bad enough. Nobody wanted us married until now. Now we're going to get married. The whole thing. And so what my wife decided to do was take her head covering, the veil that she wore, and wear it backwards on her head. So even though it didn't cover all of her hair, it covered a lot of her hair. And even though that's not ideally a head covering in halakha, there are some opinions that say that covering part of your head is enough, like covering all of your head, kind of like we wear a kippah. Covering part of our head, it's like all of our head. And today we regret it. Today we wish we would have more guts, a little bit more kach. But we don't. All of these details have big ramifications into the future as to what it is that cause a person to be married. If they get married, so do they do a yichud room? Do they wear a sheitel? They're not wearing a sheitel, so what? And you should ask the little question. Let's say you're at a wedding. Is, hey, why aren't you covering your hair? Don't ask her, actually. Don't be offensive. But think about it. Like, why is she? They're so religious. They have a mechitza. They're two separate rooms, the man and the woman. But the head covering, the next day she would never dare come out of her house without a head covering. So, how dare they come out now with that head covering? I had a cousin of mine. Right, but she would never come out without a sheitel on the next morning, right? So why isn't she not come? Why would she come out tonight without a sheitel on?
Oh, yeah.
The same lady who tomorrow she starts keeping the halachot, so tonight.
They don't wear a sheitel that same night?
Some Hasidim I saw do that, but very few. It's like you almost never heard of it.
But you can't see them anyway because the women are on one side. The room has two separate entrances.
The Simcha maybe came up with a good answer for the custom. Maybe the reason why they didn't cover their hair is because after they saw the man and they went to the ladies, they were technically with the ladies until they went back home that night. The men and women weren't at the same wedding, really.
Yeah, Borough Park, you can't even see them.
Oh, today it's a problem. Today you have photographers. I believe that in my wedding we had a male photographer on the men's side and a lady on the ladies' side. But think about it. You can't go look at the ladies dancing, so why can't the photographer go look at the ladies dancing?
And then there's the guys that do the 3-level shoulder
It's like a
rides.
doctor.
I'll tell you, we have film of the wedding, but we never made a wedding video out of it, and I never watch wedding videos. People come to the house, oh, you want to watch a video of the wedding? The chuppah, I'll watch. The wedding, no. Because I would never watch ladies dancing at the wedding. Why are you now putting on a video in the middle of your living room with all the ladies dancing, or the ladies are watching the men dancing? It happened, but to keep putting it on over and over again.
How many times you got people watch wedding once?
I don't know. I don't do it, so I'm not sure.
Do you have
lose
your
interest.
Chuppah, yeah.
You those things they lose interest
we
after
watch-
3 years.
Sure. I'll tell you, sure. If I find my video, I have to know where it is. I'm a parents in the chuppah. I told my rabbi in Israel, my parents is going to do the chuppah. I said, call Hatzala and tell them to have an ambulance waiting for your father-in-law. He's not going to know what hit him. Truth was, Baruch Hashem, they were very cooperative, but it was a very rough parents kind of chuppah. That's what it was. To make a long story short, what I was trying to share with you from here. So many people today do weddings, but they're rabbis, they have communities, they're respectable people. I'm not taking away from their kavod and their knowledge, but if they did not intimately study the laws of chuppah and kiddushin, the chances of making a mistake are so high that why don't we just let the chuppah happen by rabbis who know how to do chuppah, not who learn how to do it from the siddur.
First thing they have write the name properly.
Right, but with the ketubah, imagine the ketubah it's like any other contract. You're not a lawyer. What are you writing out contracts for? So it's a standardized text. But how do you know how to fill in the text properly? How many ketubot I've seen that... Now, technically, who uses a ketubah? No, I never saw anybody get divorced. Like, you know what? I'll give you 200 zoos, let's walk away, right? Like, I've never seen it before. But in the days where ketubah was important, someone knowing how to fill out the ketubah was important also. We should... No, that's what Rabbi Navam was trying to tell us. So we have to know halachot intimately, not just a little bit.
So you're saying the majority opinion, other than Rabbi Yosef, is that you should have it.
Al Yichud. But Chacham Ovadia is brilliant. I think that all Sephardic rabbis like to do this, is they pretend that their opinion is everyone else's opinion also. They just don't, they made a mistake, they don't know what they're talking about. Chacham Ovadia, when you read his stance on Yichud rooms, you're convinced He must be right. That's because he doesn't ever tell you the other side of the Yichud room program.